Sup guys, what's chillin'? The Casperized back with the second installment of the leveling videos. I've sort of taken a detour from the original schedule of the leveling videos and how they were going to be brought out onto YouTube. I don't think I'm going to continue leveling. I was expecting to do 3 classes in this video. I've only done 2 classes, the Mage and my Druid. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue actually leveling them all at the same pace, so each class from 5 to 10 and then from 10 to 15. I'm thinking about just leveling my Druid solo to 80, just based on the fact that then I can get hurling for my characters and level them a bit faster. And I think leveling each class, not so much in the earlier levels, it's not so much of a factor, but the further you get into the game and the longer it takes to level per level, it'll start, doing all those quests over and over again will start getting boring. So I figure I'll get my Druid to 80, at least that way I can focus on the Druid class to begin with, and I can give you guys, a full strategies and tips and stuff like that for PvP and dungeons and all the different specs and stuff like that, instead of, briefly going over each class. So I do have my Mage in this video, so it's not just the Druid in this video. And in terms of leveling, you can see there on number 1 on the bar for attacks, your attack bar, I've got the wand. I noticed I usually, back before the last time I leveled a mana based class or a caster, was before they brought in the patch to fix your mana regeneration and how much each spell costs in terms of mana. So I remember having to use the wand a lot because you run out of mana a lot, but I didn't really have to, especially on the Mage. Like, I thought, the higher level you got, the more you'd start to depend on the wand because of the spells are costing more mana. But I didn't have a problem at all. Actually, I spent more time casting spells than I actually did using my wand. I barely used it at all. So I suppose I wouldn't really recommend it at all now from levels probably from 1 to 10. I haven't done 10 to 15 yet, so I can't really report on that yet. But I wouldn't really recommend it at all. I didn't use it too much. Once I hit level 8 though, and I got arcane missiles, I started to use it a little bit, because all you have to sort of do is just get in frostbolt range, which is 30 yards, cast frostbolt, and then you get your arcane missiles. And with the slow, you get each one in, and it's no they don't get to attack you, so you get all 3 procs of the arcane missiles to hit them, and they're down to about 40% HP, and then 5 attacks from your wand pretty much finishes them off. So I found with that strategy, I didn't have to. I was constantly full mana, and it wasn't like I was sacrificing DPS for mana. So yeah, that's the strategy I use. It's not the only one you can use, I suppose, instead of going Frostbolt and Arcane Missiles, because Arcane Missiles cost a fair bit. You could go Frostbolt and then a Fire Blast or something like that, or a Fireball, and then wand them down. So that's the strategy I used. I got mining on my Mage, so I got a few stacks that I've sent to my mule, and I'll have them up on the auction house to make a fair bit of money. But I'm pretty much decided on that I am going to start focusing just on my Druid and get him to 80. That doesn't mean that I've stopped leveling all the other characters. I'll still level those characters, and I'll still be bringing out videos of that. It just won't be as frequent as the videos of my Druid. So yeah, but my Druid is 10 now, and I've got him into bear form. So I still find that even with having bear form, you still kill mobs faster with just wrathing them. So it's starting to use a bit more mana now too though. So there's a little bit of downtime when you're constantly wrathing. So what I've been doing is I've just been wrathing them and killing them, the mobs, until I'm low on mana, and then I pretty much just go bear form until I regenerate all my mana, and then I repeat the process and just keep doing that. So yeah, it's not too bad. But in terms of my Mage, yeah, I haven't spec'd any of the classes yet. I was going to let you guys decide what spec you wanted me to pick for the classes. I'm not sure if I'm still going to do that. I probably won't end up doing that on my Druid, because I probably level my Druid just as feral, because once you hit 20, cat's pretty sweet. Cat form's pretty sweet. It gets the job done pretty fast, and their attack speed's like 1.0, I think, like something crazy like that. So, and their crit chance is pretty decent as well. So I'll probably level as feral on my Druid, but on my Mage, it's up for discussion. Whatever you guys want to level him as, doesn't really bother me too much. So I ding level 9 there in Brunner Village, and coming up, this is where I don't think 10 here, but this is just a quest leading up to level 10. Tried to show you guys a quest per level. My computer, I don't know, for some reason it used to be fine. Like I used to be able to record on 1600 by 1200 resolution, all the graphics maxed with fraps, and it was perfect. I didn't lose a frame at all based on fraps. Like I might have went down a couple of frames, but it wasn't spiky at all, and it was as good all the time. Now I record on 10,024 by 768, and with the graphics like almost on low, and it spikes like all hell. So I don't know what's wrong. My motherboard must be stuffing up or something like that on my video card. I know, just not as good as it used to be. I haven't changed anything or installed anything different than I usually use. So, yeah, I don't know what's happening, but hopefully it holds up. If it doesn't, I'll probably just upgrade, get a better video card or something like that. So, but I got a 5770, I think it is, Sapphire. So it's not too bad of a card. I might just get another one of those and run them in Crossfire. So, yeah. In terms of a Mage, leveling low levels are not hard at all. They dish out a fair bit of DPS. So, yeah, it's nothing, no problems killing the mobs or anything. But you sort of don't want to have any more than probably 2 mobs max on you. You wouldn't even really want 2 mobs on you, especially as you get a little bit higher into the levels, because your HP is so low. I suppose you've got your Novas and stuff to keep them off you, but you know, a few hits from 2 mobs at a time, and you're pretty much down to about a third HP pretty fast. So you want to sort of single target the mobs. You want to, when you first, you want to sort of have be at the max range you can to cast your spells when you first start fighting them. So fireballs, I think, is 35 yards. So if you expect fire, you'd want to be 35 yards away. If you expect frost, you'd want to be, I think frost is 30 until you get the improved frost talent, which makes it 36. So yeah, mages aren't too hard. I mean, you know, there's you just pretty much cast fireball or frostbolt. And you know, if you've got a wand, use that as well. If you don't, you know, it's pretty much just continually frostbolt or fireball. It's not too hard at all. So my mage hit 10 just before. You guys leave comments if you's with what spec you want to make him, or what spec you want me to make him, and I'll do that. This is my druid leveling here. Yeah, druids aren't too hard. You can level in one or two ways. I mean, you can cast Wrath, and then as it's casting and your global cooldown's finished, you can cast Starfire, which costs actually a fair bit of mana at low levels. So I'd recommend not casting Starfire, and just Wrath. Wrath seems to get the job done fast, and it doesn't cost as much mana at all to cast them, and you don't sort of find yourself lower mana at all. So you know, just keep your buffs on. Your Thorns is pretty helpful as well, especially for the melee mobs, how it does the 3 damage every attack. So 3, especially with mobs this level, like 3 damage is like 3% of their life. So if they take you 5 times, that's 15% of their life gone straight away. So might not seem like much, but you know, if you're casting Wrath and it's taking you 4 hits to kill them, but on your 3rd hit they've only got, say, you know, 5% life left. Those attacks from Thorns means it's not going to cost you an extra Wrath or anything, or melee attacks. So that's helpful. So killing the timberlings here to get the seeds off them, and then picking up those unicorn, whatever those things are on the ground that I have to pick up. The sprouts. So yeah, with my mule, the first thing I did was before I even, like, once I got all the characters to level 5 or 6 and got them to the second area, I took my mule to well, he was already in Stormwind, and I just asked some random guy for a gold, if I could have a gold, just to buy the first wand for my mage, and just so I'd have money for the 6 slot bags. So he gave me that, and then I found once I sent 50 silver in the wand to my mage, and even though he spent like the 24 silver on buying those 4 6 slot bags, he ended up with more silver at the end of getting to level 10 than he actually had when I gave the money to the 50 silver to him. He ended up with like 67 or something like that. So he made money, and then all I did was just send 50 silver from my mage to my druid to get the bags on him, because especially to make money on a new server, if you've got no main, you sort of want to not have to sacrifice picking up items because you haven't got enough bag space. So you always want to be able to pick up every item, even if it's just, you know, like a core or something that's worth like 5 copper. you know, that everything adds up, and you know, it's not like you're going out of your way to loot it. Like, you kill the mob, it's right in front of you, and then you just, you know, you loot it. So, yeah, I'd recommend bag space as your first priority, especially things you want to buy when you first start your characters. Low levels, I suppose it really depends on the person, what they want to do. But I wouldn't suggest buying greens off the auction house, or blues for that matter, unless of course you've got a main that's where you can fund him. But I wouldn't suggest wasting money on that. I mean, leveling's not too hard with any of the classes. And you know, you especially with the lower levels, you out level the greens faster than, you know, the actual money you spend on them is worth it. So I'd suggest not buying any greens or anything like that off the auction house, especially with the new dungeon finder, and how easy it is to get in the dungeons. I mean, you're getting good greens and sometimes good blues off the instances, you know, quite regularly, especially if you dungeon a fair bit. So yeah, I suppose I could speak about Dungeon Finder for a little bit. I suppose I didn't actually have the Dungeon Finder before I quit WoW, so I've only recently been able to use it. It's a good feature. I mean, it's especially if you're on a server that's populated, or a battle group that's populated, you're getting into dungeons quite regularly, and you know, there's not a huge wait time between them. The thing that I dislike, I suppose you could say, is that, like, the way, the thing that I get the most, that I see happen the most, is like, you'll have a tank in your group, and he won't have very decent gear. I mean, he's not going to have terrible gear, but his gear's not, you know, probably as good as you'd want it to be. And I see a lot of healers, how the tank, he'll be dying from having mobs on him, and the healers will blame him dying too fast for the reason him dying instead of them healing him. And, you know, I can see some sense in that, saying that, you know, if you are taking too much damage as a tank, it's going to be hard for the healer to heal you. But a lot of the times the healer still has, you know, half mana, and he's complaining him dying too fast is the reason he couldn't heal him. And from my experience watching him heal, they let him die because of how fast he's actually dying. So it's like, you know, I'm not sure at all why they complain like that, I suppose. And that's another thing, there's no accountability in the Dungeon Finder. I mean, like, because everyone's generally spread out all across all the different servers in the battle group. You know, people, they be dickheads and shit to you, and you know, they ninja and stuff, and there's no consequence for it, because you can't really have one, because it's all spread out across all the different servers. So you know, sometimes you get people that just come into the dungeon and start needing everything. Now that doesn't really bother me, I suppose, because lower levels, the items don't bother me. It's just, you know, the experience you get is what I'm after. So, but in the higher levels where it starts, you know, meaning stuff, when you get items and you get ninjas and stuff, it's not too good at all. So my druid's hit 10, and he's in Moonglade doing the bear quest. I thought coming up to here you had to actually kill the spirit bear, but you don't. So you have to go to Darkshore, and you got to sort of kill a moonkin and then place this thing next to his body, or next to this stone, and then the actual real thing you have to kill comes, and you get the heart off him, I think, and you take that back to to Darnassus, and that's where you hand the quest in. So yeah, I suppose druids, they're good fun. I mean, all the different fight forms, all the different forms. You got your bears and your cats and your travel form and your flight form and your swimming form and all that stuff. So it's a good hybrid class as well. I mean, because it can tank, DPS and heal, so it gets all in one. And all around, it's probably, you know, it's a good class. So I'd recommend a druid if you first start playing WoW and you're new to it, don't know what to make. Druid, because, you know, if you don't know what you want to do, it can do everything, so it leaves all those options open for you. But yeah, I'm going to stick with just leveling my druid for now, guys. I still have leveling videos out of all the other classes, so it just won't be as often. So expect new videos on my druid coming out soon, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. See yous.